In the name of my ancestors, peace forever and always. I am the Angelsnupnup7 here on YouTube. Thank you so much for giving me 10 minutes of your time. Welcome once again to another edition of the Reality's Temple on Earth. I am your brother and hopefully your friend, Taalik, Ibn'rad. There are two pictures during two periods of time that continues to disturb my mind or continue to cause my mind to ask questions. There was a period of time in the history of those who are descendants of slaves in America. It was called Black Revolution period. It happened basically during the late 1950s on into the 1960s. It was a period called Black Revolution, and during this period, two prominent leaders, even though we had many leaders, two of the most prominent leaders that were placed in the eyes of the public or the masses was a brother named Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And there was a man also raised calling himself, or was called, Malcolm X. During this Black Revolution, Martin Luther King was much different from Malcolm X. Malcolm X being different from Martin Luther King, and oftentimes it seems as though they clashed. But there's a picture of Martin Luther King and a picture of Malcolm that continues to stand out in my mind so much. That's why I feel I must do what I feel I must do. Because even back then, it seemed as though these men knew if there really was going to be change in the African American community, there had to be some type of unity between the King and the X. But unfortunately, for us as a people, these two great powerhouses could not come together. And you can believe this. The government was shaking in their boots because they knew they could do nothing to stop the result of the union of these great men. We should study why these powerhouses could not come together. But you could tell, if you really looked at that picture and look at these men, you could tell they knew that it should have happened. And I know that it should have happened. The unification between Malcolm and Martin should have happened, because the same thing occurred later on, about 40-some years later perhaps, give or take, with the brotherhood in the 80s between Louis Farrakhan, who was also a child of Elijah Muhammad, just like Malcolm X, and the Reverend Jesse Jackson. When Louis Farrakhan decided to support Jesse in his bid to become president of the United States. Jesse and Farrakhan stood hand in hand. because they knew themselves that Jesse can't do the real work that is needed in order to uplift the black masses. And Farrakhan, even to this day, they know as an individual or an organization do not have the power by themselves to uplift the masses. But again, tragedy falls. You got a great powerhouse like Jesse Jackson in our modern time and Louis Farrakhan, two great men that continue to live to this day, unable to come together and bring their forces. And don't think that the enemy don't continue to shake, because they do. But again, there's something stopping them from coming together. Do y'all know what it is? Think about it. You see signs of this all over. Even here on YouTube. You have somebody like the Minister of Truth of Georgia, T-Mont, who grasp or hold on to what Brother Dr. Martin Luther King taught. And he is attacked, and he is maligned, called an Uncle Tom and a coon and a shine, just like they did Martin back in the day. Then you have myself, who is far different than T-Mont, because I am a child of Elijah Muhammad, just like Farrakhan is a child of Elijah Muhammad, just like Malcolm is a child of Elijah Muhammad. And you see our influence within this YouTube community. But there's a difference between myself and T-Mont, Farrakhan and Jackson, and Malcolm and Martin, is that we are not going to allow somebody to keep our power, our influence from integrating and embracing one another. This tells us that the solution to our problems in America is our unification. And until we unify, come into some kind of compromise, unify our forces, nothing is going to happen. So you can scream Hotep all you want. You can scream black power all you want. You can raise your hand in the air, black power all you want. Ain't nothing going to happen, because all our people, all our strength needs to be united. There must be some kind of compromise. So I will get in my raggedy car and I will hit the road and go visit my brother T-Mont, like Malcolm should have visited and sat down with Martin, or Elijah Muhammad should have sat down with Martin. And I think before the assassination of Martin King, I think that Martin King did visit Elijah Muhammad, because they know that it is important. Regardless, yes, we have differences, but we have a common goal. We want the best for black folks. It's not about me, my ego and what I want. It's not about T-Mont, his ego and what he wants. It's about what is best for us. I'm tired of seeing our black women prostitutes. I'm tired of seeing our brothers being locked up, incarcerated in jail. I'm tired of seeing us drunkards and alcoholics and dope fiends. Shouldn't you? I'm tired of being in this environment of being discriminated against, laughed at, and made mockery of. Aren't you tired of it? If you are tired of it, then you need to drop down, get rid of your egos, and compromise with your brother and your sisters, so that we can get ourselves up out of this mess, so that we can allow our children, our babies, to inherit a better living condition. can take us to greater pastures instead of the same old, nigga, honky, you discriminate against me. It'll get better. You know, we shall overcome. Aren't y'all tired of all that crazy stuff? So I have no problem with sitting with Brother T-Mon. And we're going to unify this thing some kind of way. It must be done. Because the only one going to save us, and whether you believe in God or not, is ourselves. And what we got right here is called the brain. Time is out. See you, T-Mon, in a little while. This is your brother Taalik Ibn'rad. This was and is the Reality's Temple on Earth.